Back home at Hale's headquarters. And just because I'm not at Otter Creek doesn't mean Otter Creek ends. Come on, Black Thunder, what do you got under here? Let's see what Black Thunder is. Oh, look at this, George.
What?
Black Thunder is hiding a little baby.
Hi, baby.
A little baby chick.
Welcome to the world.
Just like this chick, with a brand new beginning and a fresh start, Otter Creek has a chance at a brand new beginning and a fresh start as well. While I was away, George has been playing mommy to this little chick right
I had to
here.
rescue that one because
Look
Pigeon
at
Looking
that.
Chicken abandoned it.
Yep, Pigeon Looking Chicken actually hatched her or him, and now we have another. Look, his or her eyes, legs are doing okay, but eyes aren't even open yet. And so we're gonna have to teach it how to drink and how to eat. Woohoo! All right.
We've got him under a heating lamp and got some food and water. And
Usually we just go whoop, like that. Felt the beak, right?
Yeah, see, look, he's drinking
Drinking
already.
the water, drinking the
Aw.
water from my finger.
Yeah.
So, no, you play nice. So here's the issue with chickens. It's what's called a pecking order. We have that cliche. And that pecking order is something we've seen in the town of Otter Creek as well. But before we get into that pecking order with Russ The Suss and Don the Con and Mary, Lynette, John Crook, and the list goes on and on. Laura Mott, even though she's kept her mouth shut like a wise person, she's still part of this as well. You still have questions, and we're going to try and answer them the best we can. Suzanne has a pretty big question. She says, you got to guide me through this. I have to ask this question. How long and hard did you have to search to find Otter Creek? And did George have any qualms about this town? Just curious. Did you have any qualms?
In the beginning,
You're the one that found it.
I am the one that found it. It took me a few months to find it, to locate it on the map. But when we went to go view the property and the surrounding properties, you fell in love with it. And the realtor, she predicted that you would fall in love with it.
Let's get to the history of how we found it. All right, George said, what do you want me to look for? We already knew we wanted to be on the Gulf side, so we wanted to be over here, right? I told George I want 50 or more acres, but I need to be around major cities. So let's look at here. Here's Tampa, here's Orlando, here's Tallahassee, here's Jacksonville. Down here, you've got Miami, Fort Lauderdale, okay? This meant nothing to me, but if you were to draw a circle in Florida, guess what's smack dab in the middle? You see this? Cedar Key. And guess where Otter Creek is? Right here. We're 2 hours from Tampa, from Orlando, from Jacksonville, from Tallahassee, and we're on the Gulf side. All we did was drew a circle. What's in the middle? What gets us to every major city and hub so that we can go to the auctions, resell, and make money? And can we find acreage? And this is exactly what we did. We looked at a map and said, what makes the most sense? What's the center of the hub? Draw a circle, boom, there it is. Now, we looked in Cedar Key, but we didn't have internet access in Cedar Key. We bought the 70 acres because it actually had the best internet access. It met our guidelines of 50 acres or more, and then we were still on the Gulf side, and we can run over to Cedar Key anytime we want, but we can still work. We need internet because we sell everything online. If we don't have internet, we don't have a business. It was literally that easy. Draw a circle. Here's the business plan. Can we get to where we need to be? And can we have a home base? And can we sell from it? And the answer is absolutely. It works extremely well for us. Georgianne wants to know, I need to know how Lynette latched on to us. Okay. And how did it all start between you and Lynette? She sounds nuts. Nuts is the understatement for Lynette and for John Crook, okay? So we obviously have a lot of fans that watch us from around the world. And we've tried to teach the aspect of fun employment. As a matter of fact, in this video, we're going to tell you more how you can be fun employed and work for yourself. I'm going to give you some business principles that will work for you and work for the town because people want to know. as a fan, she stalked us, which is not unusual for George and I. As we looked at the property that we needed, we also needed to have complete and total security, to be surrounded to where people can't get to us. That's just part of living your life out on a public platform. That's why we're here in Hale's headquarters. This is the most secure piece of property that we could find, and that's why we're in it. That's it. Security, okay? So with Lynette, she started doing her digging and her searching. And she started to see, oh wait, Jeremy and George give away money. And on the channel, we have probably given well over $1 million away, if not more. I don't know. We've never kept tabs. CPA keeps tabs. And so when you're a professional scam artist and you do not like to work for a living, you try and find ways to actually get money. So how does she do that? Well, she's trying to do that through animals. That's not working for her. She's trying to do that through soliciting a child. That's not working for her. By the way, her child is not going to die at any moment, at any time. Her child has an absolutely 100% manageable dietary issue. That's it. But she likes to try and utilize that to try and get money. That's why she got on the internet to try and be a minister so she could do weddings. Not work, get paid. That's her MO. That's what she does. That's what he does. So they followed. Listen, if you have a turtle rescue or a tortoise rescue, you don't go in northern Florida because they can't take the temperatures. Gets too cold. You have to put heat on them. All of those things. You go further south where it's warmer. So they did not go up north to help save animals and tortoises and turtles. They went to try and scam money off of us, which never ever happened. So the very first communication was an email. I just bought the property across the street from you. I'm a huge fan. Will you bring your tractor over and will you move the tree so I can get my car in? And me being me, as George always says, I'm too much of a bleeding heart and I need to say no more than yes. I went and took the tractor over. Later to find out, she lied to me from the very beginning. She didn't even own the property yet. She had me trespassing on the property. She may have been negotiating the deal, but she did not own it. And I'm there removing a huge fallen tree with a tractor all over the property. Not okay. You want to know what else is not okay? These people are not okay. Here's the biggest thing. Lynette just posted this morning, I think fans sent us, that she posted that Mary is still struggling and fighting for her life. Complete and total liabilities. Mary's at home. Mary's at home in Otter Creek. Oh wait, liabilities struck again. John Crook and Lynette have been saying there's been no corruption in Otter Creek. We have proven there's no corruption whatsoever. These two have been placing signs. These two have been a thorn in the flesh for Mary and for Russell from the beginning when they got to Otter Creek. As a matter of fact, when the 6,000 emails are released, you're going to see Mary cannot stand Lynette or John Crook. She's the very first one to call them the turtle people in the emails to the attorney. She can't stand them. And here's Lynette going, oh, please send me cards. Send me gifts for Mary. She's fighting for her life. Mary's at home, recovering just fine without Lynette. And I guarantee you, Mary wants nothing to do with Lynette or John Crook. Take a look at the signs they posted all over. Oh, and keep in mind, as two of the members of the 501c3, they are breaking IRS laws. They are not allowed to be for or against any candidate in any local, state, federal election. You can report it to IRS just like we did. Paula has got a question about the lawsuit. Hey, Jeremy, because of the lawsuit, isn't there a conflict of interest for Mr. Warm to be the town lawyer since there's proof he was in contact with Mary in emails? Also, isn't that why there's another lawyer handling the lawsuit? All right, Paula, let me try and break this down for you the best way possible. The town of Otter Creek had an incredible lawyer, a lawyer with extreme integrity. And that lawyer looked at this daycare center of geriatrics and went, I want nothing to do with this. As a matter of fact, he fled. Rightfully so. Nobody in their right mind would stick around. And so everything that he actually said, hey, this is what you need to do, Russell would do it the opposite way. Stewart, Don the Con, you name it. They would go exactly against what he would tell them to do. And that's a pretty big liability for a lawyer to be representing a town that won't do the legal right thing. So he left. He's like, I'm out. So who could they get? Well, they heard about this lawyer, which is Mr. Worm. Mr. Worm has a horrible reputation in the county in regards to legal and lawyers and you name it, okay? He's the bottom of the barrel, all right? But he will take their money. And so he represents a number of different towns in the area. And remember, Otter Creek is not the only corrupt town. It doesn't matter the size, the income. There's corrupt places all over the world. And Mr. Worm was wanting to get a little piece of that Otter Creek pie. There ain't much money there, but he's getting his share. But Mr. Worm will not go to litigation for the town. He will only counsel the town in the town matters. Obviously, you've seen he won't even show up to the town. Shows up to Bronson, which is 10 minutes the other way, but he won't show up to Otter Creek. So is there a conflict of interest since he was in communication with Mary and Russell in regards to all these things? You know, that would be for somebody else to determine if there's a conflict of interest. The lawsuit right now is only about public information. So I don't think there would be any conflict of interest in regards to public information lawsuit. Any lawsuit that could come after that, yeah, there could be a conflict of interest. If it's found that Attorney Worm did something illegal with Mary or Russ the Suss, then him representing himself, yeah, that would be a huge conflict of interest. But you have to understand, he refused to actually litigate meaning go to court for them. So the town of Otter Creek, the mess that Russ the Suss and Mary and others put the town in, they had to go and find another lawyer to represent them that will actually litigate for them. That's the only reason, because the lawyer that the town actually employed under Russ the Suss refuses to go to litigation. So they had to find another lawyer to go to litigation. They have to pay that lawyer, and they've got to pay Attorney Worm for all of his counsel, which got them into this situation in the first place. Yeah, I should back up a little bit. I'm sure at some point he probably gave them good counsel, but these fools don't accept good counsel. You see it in every video, but thankfully, there is a new counsel who accepts good counsel and are doing good things for the town. Brenda Troy has a question that the world wants to know. What's happened to the $1.4 million? Okay, Brenda Troy, I want to know what happened to the $1.4 million in the grant money that was given to Otter Creek while Russ the Suss was pretending to play mayor. All right, so as of right now, I don't know. But here's what I do know. The last town hall meeting, we were told that the grant, there was a company, I forget the name of the company. And you have to understand, I don't know everything. I can't answer every question. So one of the things that happened at the last town hall meeting, the people in the crowd were coming up to me. Why wasn't this done? Why didn't they do this? Why? I don't know. I'm not the mayor. I'm not the vice mayor. I'm not on the town council, nor do I want to be.
You didn't even vote.
I didn't even vote, but I am. I am this next election, and so is George. So we found out now that we can vote, and we will be voting in this next election, which is 9 months away now, maybe even 8. So the company is going to come in, and they're going to tell us exactly what's happened with that 1.4 million, where the money is, what can be done with the money, what money is left. We're going to get a full breakdown. So that's the next meeting. And it sounds a little silly to even say, but it's less than 3 weeks away now. I mean, I was just in Otter Creek for 2 weeks, and I'm going to turn around and go back again. Are you coming or not?
The plan is to go with you, yes, because I want to see the baby ducks.
LDYSFM, not making it up. That's what it is. YouTube changed their platform and their policy that everybody has an @ and a handle now. So if you didn't create a handle, YouTube just put a bunch of random letters and sometimes a bunch of random numbers together to create a handle for you, which is in sense your profile or your channel, because on YouTube, your profile is your channel. But this is what they want to know. That's just a little bit of YouTube education for you. And George and I crack up all the time, especially on people on Lynette's channel. They think they know everything about YouTube. And how much laughing do you spend?
Well, not so much on her channel, but on her Facebook group, the screenshots that we get, it's pretty comical.
Yeah.
Pretty comical.
Yeah, there's some YouTube experts out there that know absolutely what?
Everything about not so much everything.
Okay, just making sure. Dang, you live there?
Yeah, it's a nice view, isn't it?
This is where you've been for 2 weeks while I've been suffering in Otter Creek?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what income does the town get from the residents? Is it just taxes and the water bills? All right, so a town to actually operate has to have an income. All right, think of the town the same as a business. I don't know, pick any business. Pick a restaurant, pick McDonald's, pick a Dollar General. There's a Dollar General around every corner now, right? You have to sell, or you have to, there's two ways to make money. You either sell something or you offer a service. So if I sell something, let's say I sell Garbage Pail Kids. I'm selling something. If I offer a service, let's say I give you quotes and I let you know how much your Garbage Pail Kids are worth. That's a service because I know something you don't. So I'm giving you a service, okay? So you're either selling something or you're a service. That's how you make money. So in the town of Otter Creek, Dollar General obviously sells things. McDonald's sells things.
Post office would be a good example.
Post office.
They do both.
Sells things and they give you information. They offer you a service. Okay. So the town of Otter Creek obviously sells. What do they sell? Water. Okay. Now we know that water isn't the best water in the world. As a matter of fact, the chemicals that we use, George and I didn't know this when we first moved down there. We know now because we actually did a tour of the water plant. The chemicals that they use actually make the water smell horrible. I mean, it's horrific. I kept telling George we'd be on the phone because George makes me stay on the phone with her 25/8 when I'm gone. Literally, I can't answer anybody's calls. She makes me stay on the phone, right?
Not all the time. Not all the time. But what's your question?
What would I keep telling you about the water when I was in Otter Creek?
That it doesn't stink, it stanks.
It's like so bad. It's so bad. So the water smells horrible. It's non-drinkable. As a matter of fact, the state will tell you do not drink that water. It doesn't matter what Lynette tells you. This is a crazy woman, crazy fool who wants to say, "Oh yeah, the water is great."
Well, I'd like to see her go live.
Yes, let's see her live.
I'd like to see her and John both go live and drink the Otter Creek water,
well,
and then come back and say that the water's fine and there's nothing wrong with it.
And not only that, she just had her child at a water park, correct? So she keeps saying she's going live. She keeps saying she's going live and she's going to show all these things. She just had the baby at a water park, drinking all this dirty water at a water park. But she's so scared for her life. Again, it's all a scam to try and get money and get donations. You're soliciting, you're using a child. It's so gross, it's so horrific. You're using a child to try and get money instead of actually going out and doing work.
That's never okay.
And you don't have to work at a place. You can work from home. But you can see no work gets done at the third old purgatory. So you either sell something, you offer a service. Otter Creek sells water. They don't even make enough to actually pay for the water with all the servicing that they have to do. So let me break this down for you because I think there's a misunderstanding for a lot of people with the water. Whenever you have water, there has to be a main water guy, okay? And this guy is a chemist. You've actually seen this guy before on our channels. His name is Lonnie. Lonnie put the backflow preventer in for us. Lonnie put our meter in for us. Lonnie is the town employed water guy. We're just going to call him the water guy. It's the easiest thing for you to understand. We're going to break it down simple. He's the water guy. He's not only Otter Creek's water guy, he's a lot of towns' water guy, like Bronson, town right next door to us. Now, we also have a town maintenance man who is not the water guy. You know him as Richard. Now, Richard, he does things for the town and he does things for Lonnie. Richard actually reads the meters, not for the town, for Lonnie. It's Lonnie's job to actually read the meters and report it back to the town. Lonnie pays Richard to go and read our meters and then report it back to the town. Richard does other things. Trees fall down during storms. This needs set up as far as town hall. I'm sure there's a lot of things. Some of those things are he goes in and he checks the water plants, make sure everything is operational. There's another eye on the water plants just to make sure there's no problems. He's not part of the chemistry. He's not part of the chemicals. He's part of just making sure everything is okay. So the town of Otter Creek sells water. All right, how else do they get money? All right, we pay taxes. And taxes in Florida are so ridiculously cheap. So ridiculously cheap that you almost don't even notice that you're being taxed. It's ridiculous, which is one of the benefits of why people go to Florida, because it's so business friendly and the taxes are so cheap. Florida's a great place to run a business. So you get taxes. Taxes go to the county, and then the county splits up a percentage, to my understanding, which would then go back to the town. That's how they're making money. They've got water, they've got taxes. Now, could they do other things to make money? The answer is absolutely yes. Why is the town of Otter Creek, that's in financial emergency, completely and totally almost broke? The last meeting we were at, the mayor cut $10,000 that was frivolously being spent on ridiculous things such as phone lines, fax lines. Nobody fax anymore. I can't even remember all the ridiculous things. She was like, I can't grasp my head around this. And she's saving the town over $10,000. Could they do other things to make money? Absolutely. Why don't they have different festivals? They could do community garage sales. They could do, you come up with it. The town could do a lot of different things. They could have activities. They could have town days. They could have, and where merchants come in and food trucks come in, and the food trucks pay the town $500 to set up a spot on the main town square. And we have a whole, Florida Eats Day, you name it. Whatever you can think of, that's the difference between the old regime and the new regime. The old regime said, we're not doing anything, and we will never do anything, and we will never grow, and we will die like this. We will die. And the new regime goes, we better fix this or we're going to die, and we're going to fix this. Death isn't an option. And so they can come up and think more creatively, which is one of the biggest ways to generate money personally. So many people have asked, Jeremy, can you teach us how to make money? The very first step is change your thinking, and the town of Otter Creek is changing. Ruthie Hammond wants to know. Yeah, Ruthie Hammond. See that right there? That's Ruthie. Ruthie Hammond says, hey, I'm not sure you're answering my question. You should probably just throw this question out, right? Let's see what the question is. I would like to know how Russ can be on city council after being voted out as mayor. Please explain. Also, I've been watching since before you and George got together. You have me hooked on your channel, as many thousands have. Go get them, Jeremy. Okay, here's what happens in the town of Otter Creek as far as local elections. First of all, you need to know there's no parties. There isn't Democratic or Republican. There is no party. It's just a town council seat. There are 5 seats. 2 of those seats every year, let me back up a little bit. 5 seats, 2 seats go up for election for a person to actually fill in those seats every 2 years. And then 3 of those seats go up for election every 2 years, and they vice versa. So for example, so every year there's an election. This upcoming year in the election, there will be 2 seats to vote. Next year, there'll be 3 seats to vote because everybody runs on 2-year terms, okay? Now, you've seen a whole thing about 1 year with Russell and the council. That is all because Laura Mott, who was the mayor, she stepped down to run for county commissioner. She failed miserably, all right? And so because of that, they had this whole offsetting of the seats 2 seats, 3 seats, 2 seats, 3 seats, 2 seats, 3 seats. That's the normal schedule. And they don't vote based on seat 1, seat 2, seat 3, seat 4, seat 5. Other towns would go, oh, you're voting for seat 1. I want George in seat 1. You're voting for seat 2. I want Jeremy in seat 2. You're voting for seat 3. I want Madam Mayor in seat 3. They don't do that. They don't acknowledge the actual seats in the town of Otter Creek. You just randomly get seats, which is why Russell is going, why do you want me in the 1-year seat? Well, because nobody wants you on the town council. So this is how he gets to still be on the town council. They ran an election, and it was 4 people.
Which
it
is
was
odd.
only supposed to be 3. What was that?
So it was an odd election time with 4 seats versus 3 seats. That typically does not happen.
Do you use that word typically?
Odd? Ever since we moved to Otter Creek, yeah, I've been using it quite often.
Okay, you and Don. So there were 4 seats. There were only supposed to be 3, but there were 4. All right, and that one of them is going to serve out a 1-year term because somebody jumped out of the election to run for county commissioner, Laura Mott. You've heard her name. We very rarely have showed her. We've showed her once, and she's actually been the smartest one out of this entire group. She's kept her mouth shut. Believe it or not, as much as these morons have done to me, I've constantly told them, this is how you protect yourself. This is how you protect yourself. Keep your mouth shut. She's been the smartest one. Lo and behold. All right, so now we've got those 4 seats. They come in, and you go, well, how can Russ be in there? He was mayor before. Yes, he was mayor. His term expired. He's been mayor for 2 years. He ran a 2-year term, and then he was one of the 3 seats that were going back up, but ended up being 4 seats this year. So the people, they actually voted. And they voted, and Gale got 44 votes. Now remember, when they went in to vote, because this is a whole nother area where people are going, I don't understand. They can't do math in Otter Creek. Mary can't do math. There are other people who can do math. How can it be that Gale got 44 votes, Madam Mayor got 34 votes, Zim got 34 votes, and then Russell got 34 votes? There's only 100 plus people in Otter Creek. Because when you go and vote, you voted for 4 people. Every person voted 4 times. At least they were supposed to. Some people went in there, I just want Madam Mayor. I just want Gale. And they left the other 3 blank. You got 4 votes. Every person, 4 votes, because there was 4 seats. So they voted Russell back in. That's how. His 2-year term as mayor, there is no, in our town and in Florida, there is no, you expired how many times you can actually run for a seat. If you did that in Otter Creek, guess what? After a few years, you'd have absolutely nobody who could run on the council anymore, because there is nobody. It's a ridiculous town of 100 people, and you have to understand, the people of the town don't want to run for council. Nobody wants that burden. Nobody wants that responsibility. So who rises to the occasion? The corrupt individuals. You've got Russell. You've got Don. You had Stewart. And then what happens is now the good people have to go, this is not okay. We need to correct it. So now the good people had to come in and go, we need to correct this. Now, once the good people have it corrected, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to, I want nothing to do with this. And then now the bad people are going to try and get in it again. You want to know how you keep Russell out of it forever? You unincorporate the town. What does that mean? It means you're no longer a town. That's what it means. Now, here's the other thing people think. Jeremy, can't you just come in and buy the town? Some of you have been watching a little bit too much of Netflix. This isn't Schitt's Creek, okay? You can't come into a town and buy a town. What is the town? The town is basically an entity, a tax status that says we're a town. We have incorporated, just like if you're buying on the stock market, they're incorporated. It's a business. You're buying into the business. I can't buy the town. When I buy Walmart stock, I don't own Walmart. I own a share of Walmart. The only thing I can own of the town is property. The town is just an entity. It's a tax status. What you do is you take all of that away. You take it all away, and it's nothing other than the same town that's right next to it, Golf Hammock with 500 people. Guess what? They're not incorporated. Who takes care of everything? The county. County's responsible for everything. So if we unincorporate, you don't have these bad people like Russ The Suss trying to gain power again and authority over water. You have those people doing that at the county level. And George and I at this point, aren't interested in getting involved in the county level. What's up, girl? Haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
Look at the chipmunk.
Okay,
You
I'm
see
looking.
him?
Janet Cole wants to know if Netflix picked this series up, which would be, we've already named it, right? It's not Tiger King, it'd be Turtle Queen! I am Lynette, the Turtle Queen of all! Right? It'd be Turtle Queen. So if Netflix picked this series up, Janet wants to know, who would you have play you?
Who would I have play me?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, if you look at Netflix's Tiger King series, everyone played themselves. So I would play myself.
Okay, I was maybe hoping for Sama Hale. What's her name?
If it's a Netflix series, definitely play myself.
Who's the really, really gorgeous Hispanic Sama Hale?
No idea.
Yes, you do.
No idea.
Yes, every time we see her, you're like, she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. And I'm like, she ain't got nothing on you, baby. Nothing.
I'm
Nothing.
a hot mess.
Who I would pick, and by the way, most people probably don't realize this. We get contacted by producers all the time. So we've had multiple invites to do shows on TV, and what most people don't understand is TV is basically minimum wage. You sign up for TV, you're working nonstop around the clock on somebody else's schedule, and you're making minimum wage. Once you figure out everything that you're actually making, it's minimum wage. It's not until you get into like season 6, season 7, where you actually have a negotiation power where people want to view it, where you can get an actual good contract. So there's no desire for us to give up our current income to go to a minimum wage income for TV. The only reason why somebody would want to be on TV, like Lynette, she was dying to be on Channel 20. The only reason for somebody to be on TV would be what?
Someone seeking attention, whether it's good, bad, whatever.
Exactly. Okay. So who would play me? You know. Come on. 98 Degrees, baby. Nick LaHaye.
Nick LaHaye. It's LaHaye.
No, you called me LaHaye.
You're the bootleg version.
She introduced
LaHaye.
me to her girlfriends, and her girlfriend went,
She's like, oh my God, he looks like Nick LaHaye.
right there, Sama Hayek.
I look nothing like her. She's so much prettier.
Well, you know what? She's playing you. Forget Nick LaHaye. I'm playing me and Sama. Am I even saying her name right? I don't care. I'm just going to call her George anyway. It won't matter. Trude wants to know what happens to the town if they can't get their act together. And I kind of alluded to this already. It dissolves, it becomes unincorporated, and it becomes just like any other town that isn't incorporated in Florida. Vast majority of these places are unincorporated, and they survive just fine. What happens is the county now takes responsibility of all of these services. So remember, when you're a town and you're receiving money and all of this stuff, you have to provide services. They have to provide the people different services such as police, firefighting, and it goes on and 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 on. And right now, they can't afford it. There's no way in the world they can afford it. There's no way that a town of 100 people are ever going to be able to generate enough income, because what each individual in the town would have to pay in taxes is more than most of the people in the town actually get in all their benefits from the government. You see what I'm saying? So the town is headed towards bankruptcy because the people in the town are pretty close there as well. They can't give enough to the town for the town to provide the services. Now that goes back to the very beginning when somebody asked, did you guys have any concerns about moving there? We did not move there knowing that the government was corrupt. We did not move there knowing that this is what the people are like. We did not move there going, the average income is this, or they're on assistance for this, or we didn't move there based on those things. We moved there based on our own business plan. Our business plan was to generate money, and we can generate money where other people, they don't have a desire or a passion to. Mary wants to know, do you know it's against the law for a person receiving mental disability benefits to own or possess a firearm? I guess. I mean, I would think that that should be policed pretty heavily. I'm not sure what Mary's referring to, whether she oh, you know what? It's got to be John Crook. Because John Crook points the firearm at me. And remember, he tells the sheriff, I didn't have a gun. And the sheriff goes, you absolutely did. I've already seen the video. Here we go. More lie after lie after lie. Why would anybody believe anything that comes out of Lynette's mouth or John Crook's mouth? Why would anybody believe anything? It just blows my mind. So yes, it's against the law to have a firearm if you have a mental disability. And so diagnosed and you're receiving income for that mental disability, just so we're very, very clear. But it's against the law to own a firearm for a lot of different things. Doesn't matter, because most people who are breaking the law could care less about the laws. As you see, Lynette and John Crook, they have an illegal camper on a property. They're illegally living in sheds on the property. They have illegally had people living in tents on the property. They had a stolen camper with drug addicts on the property. All of this is illegal. All of it. They can't have a reptile animal rescue within a quarter of a mile of people. All of this breaks county statutes. It doesn't matter what the law is. Bad people are going to do bad things irregardless of what the law actually is. Are you filming me from outside of the bathroom right now? I come in here to get a little peace and quiet, and you're creeping up through the windows.
There's no such thing as peace and quiet.
You're literally coming through the windows. Do I need to put a screen down? Because I will. All right. Let's see. Sedge has a question here, and it's in regards to Turd Lady, Lynette, and John Crook. Can you imagine what the inside of those campers look like at the Turd Sanctuary? That crazy old bat must have crap all over inside, making the health of that poor baby girl even worse. I don't even want to imagine it. If the outside looks that bad, you gotta know that the inside is gonna be just as bad. It's a mess, it's filthy, it's not okay. And some people are gonna, well, it's mental illness. Okay, mental illness is not okay. You can actually work through that and work with people to help that, and we can correct things like that in most cases. Keep in mind, she has posted that she hired those two crackheads that supposedly stole Ty the tortoise and stole everything she even owned and all of her money. They were hired to clean out her camper for her. So no, I can't imagine how filthy it must be. And they left beforehand. It must be pretty bad if crackheads are fleeing. They don't even want to be there. Tom's got a question about water line size, where this all started. Okay, Tom says, I've not figured out what the size of the water line has to do with the cost when the pricing is by gallons, commercial or residential. What difference does it make? George, can you share with everybody, does size matter?
In this case, size does not matter. The town ordinance / resolution was built based on gallon usage, not size of the meter.
Okay, but in other aspects of life, does size matter?
Depends on what we're referring to. Depends on who you ask.
Driveways.
For us, size definitely matters.
Okay, so there have been many that said, well, my town bills this way, my city bills this way. Doesn't matter. We appreciate your comments, but when you go, well, mine does this, mine does that, it doesn't matter because it's the town of Otter Creek. The town decides how they're going to bill. And what they did was illegally charge me with and it was Mary. She came up with a price out of the back of her seat, out of her butt. Just like, you owe me $50. Who knows what she was going to do with the money? So it's based on size of gallons, which it isn't even, gallons the same size. I'm getting size of pipes mixed with gallons. It's based on how many gallons you use. And in the last meeting, you saw they tried to correct the resolution and make it a legal resolution again instead of the illegal resolution where it was targeting me specifically. And beforehand, everybody in the town paid the exact same price except one person, Jeremy Hales. The Herschel's Quick Stop didn't pay a different price. The Christian School Church didn't pay a different price. The post office didn't pay a different price. The other church in town didn't pay a different price. The campground didn't pay a different price. The Lark didn't pay a different price. All commercial entities, right? No, who paid a different price and was charged commercial? I was.
For residential.
So I'm a residential property. I know the new administration has already corrected that. Empty Pockets wants to know, why not sell the books and use the money to help the Otter Creek bills? All right, Empty Pockets. Let's break this down a little bit. Number one, you're saying you have empty pockets. If you have empty pockets, what do you think the people in Otter Creek have? 2 empty pockets. That's just the reality. I'm not making fun of the situation or the demographic. I'm telling you the reality. There is very, very, very little money in Otter Creek. Vast majority of the people are living off of some kind of assistance through the government. Okay? That's the reality. So let's get back to your question. Why not sell the books, help pay the bills? All right, if you sell the books, who's going to buy them? So if Otter Creek is that way, let me tell you again, Levy County is that way. There is very, very, very little money in the county as a whole. So what are you going to do? You have to pay somebody to sell them. I'm not saying somebody won't volunteer and do it, but still, there's money involved. If you're going to have the electric on in town hall, that costs money. So you're creating more bills to try and sell to people who have empty pockets. Who are you going to sell it to? So you've got a person involved, you got utility expenses involved, you got a building involved. How are you going to sell them? So the mayor already has more than enough things that have to be cared for that are much, much, much bigger priority than selling books. So I'm going to give you an example. In my day, there's 500 things that want my attention in my day. And there are 490 of them that will make me 50 cents or $1. And then there's 10 other things that will make me $5,000 or $10,000. I could care less about the 50 cents and the dollar items. All I care about is the $5,000 and the $10,000 items. There's only so much time in a day, right? So you have to prioritize your day. You can't just go, well, let's do this and this and this and this and this, and at the end of the day you get no sleep and nothing gets done. So there's much, much bigger things to handle right now rather than selling the books. And what books are worth money anymore? There are some that are worth a lot of money. I have sold books on eBay for thousands of dollars. But I haven't come across thousands of dollars a book or even $100 book in a long, long time. Although I did just sell a book, Christian Patience just sold a book, but that was from the unit in Pennsylvania that we bought with all of the die-cast cars. I mean, that had $250,000 of tools in it. That was a very, very, very rare storage unit. Most of the time what we do is donate books. It's not worth selling the books. So that's why, because you actually are going to incur more bills and utilities and time of people, and all of this stuff adds up. Time is money. People's time is worth money. And so selling the books, I seriously doubt that's going to generate any money for the town. That's going to be offset by the expenses that you would incur by trying to sell the books. Why didn't anybody ask Russell why Mary was doing work for his plumbing business? That's a great question. Let's face it. Come on. We all know Russell is corrupt. We all know it. And so much has come out already. And even more is going to come out. It's just going to keep flowing and flowing and flowing. So to sit there and go, why was Mary doing work for you? It's already been acknowledged. It's already been said to the people. The Attorney General knows now as well, or the state attorney. They said the state attorney. They submitted everything to the state attorney, and they might have the Attorney General too. I'm not sure, but why create more of a fight in the actual meeting when they're trying to do good things? The mayor is trying to move the town forward, not keep going back. She's telling them transparently, because Russell told them nothing. She's vowed transparency, so she's doing an incredible job, and she's saying This is what happened. And now she's saying, this is where we're going. And so she's acknowledging this happened. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, right? This is what happened. This is where we're going. So her focus in this meeting is truly moving things forward. She's being very transparent. She's sharing everything that's happened, and she's moving forward in the right direction for the town. So the short answer is because she wants to keep focused on the future. Another question by LOL Carter. Lola, it's from Lola. Lola, I have a question. How many of me can you see right now, and how many of George's can you see? And Lola Carter wants to know, is Don, who illegally held his position, which again, we don't know 100% for sure yet, but we are launching the investigation. We are contacting those in authority to make sure we are moving forward with that. Is he going to have to repay his salary? And is he going to have charges of fraud as well? So ultimately, we won't be the ones that decide that. It's going to be the state that decides that. Now, I can tell you that communication has already started with Tammy Jones, who is in the head of all the elections in Levy County. Conversations have already started with the town as well, with the Attorney General. So I know that's happened. Election side on my side, Attorney General on the town side. Somebody's going to decide what happens. If it is illegal, will he have to repay? They'll decide. And if, as such, second part of your question, are there going to be charges of fraud? Again, in my position as a resident, I can't charge somebody with fraud. That's going to have to be held and waited for upon the legalities to move through the course and then figure out, will he be charged or not? That's life. 13. Ask a question, and many people ask the same question. I would love for you to guide me through a way to make money. We don't get the storage units or pallets for sale here in the UK. Jeremy, you're an inspiration. Can't believe Suss signed the bank sheet even though he was a hindrance to the council when signing over the bank details. Very true. All right, we're going to break it down. Jeremy, I was wondering, this is Jesse. Jeremy, I was wondering if you would ever consider putting a how-to money management video the way you do it. All right, here's the way I do it. There were so many more. Okay, so you want to make money, and they're asking this because I said, hey, if you give me $10,000 a year, I'll turn that $10,000 into $100,000 versus somebody else who just goes, I only have $10,000. All right, so here's what you need to do. First thing you need to do is change your thinking. If you don't change your thinking, you're never going to change your life in regards to your income. Now, I want to be very, very, very clear. I am not talking this word manifest that so many people throw around in today's culture. And I know this is so controversial because I've said it before, and I really don't care to read your comments on it. That whole word comes out of an occult leader who then has mainstreamed it, and then you guys all latch onto it and go, you got to manifest, you got to manifest. Listen, manifesting does nothing. I cannot manifest myself to be 10 years younger. It doesn't happen. I can't manifest more hair on my head. It doesn't happen. Manifesting is not real. It does not work. What you can do is change the way you think and set goals and aim for those goals. That works, okay? Know the origin of the words that you're saying in your culture before you actually use them. So change the way you think. If you think, I only make $10,000 a year, I'm never going to get out of this financial hole. Well, that's what's exactly going to happen. You're going to sit there and go, I only make $10,000 a year. I'm never going to get out of this financial hole. If you become mayor of a town like Otter Creek and you go, this is horrible, we're never going to fix this. Guess what? That's going to be your attitude every day. This is horrible. You're never going to fix this. Or you could think, oh my goodness, what an opportunity. We're going to fix this. We literally are going to fix this. This is going to be the greatest town in all of Florida. So changing your thinking changes what you do or how you act. So let me share with you in regards to this. I'm going to give you an example. I remember one day going over to Lynette because she begged me to bring the tractor over to move something. And the same thing, it drove George nuts. It drives me nuts. The very first thing, she doesn't say hi. It's, I can't pay my bills. I hate John. I want him to die. No tears. Fake. It's all fake. It's all for income. She wants money. She wants you to hand her out money. She wants you to feel sorry and hand money. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, what is going on? And she goes, I have a new trailer and I have to pay $1,000 a month. I don't remember what the number was. It's like $1,000 a month. And my new Jeep, my Gladiator, I have to pay this much a month. And I only make $1,200 a month. I'm making up the numbers right now. I realize she's going to call me a liar. I don't remember what the exact numbers are, but her expenses were way, way over her income. her assistance that she's getting from the government. You see what I'm saying? So her thought process is, I need a new camper, I need a new truck, and I have no money to finish my house on this property. And this funny thing is she calls her 501c, it's a shell thing. Really, I don't think that's the 501c3. I think that's the house, because all there is an aluminum shell of a barn. It's a shell thing. But let me digress. Her thinking is, oh, I'm going to go beg people for money. No, you change the way you think. All right? You do not spend more than you receive. It's that easy. People also ask me all the time, what kind of budget do you use? My budget is simply this. You don't spend more than you make, period. That's it. So how do you change the way you think? If you're only making so much money in your government assistance or your Social Security or whatever's coming in, you don't spend more than that. You get rid of the camper that you have debt on, you sell it, and then you get something to live in that you can actually afford. You don't have a brand new Jeep Gladiator, you sell it, and you buy a $5,000 junker truck. That's it. That's how you change your thinking. You don't sit there and go, oh, I'm going to max out my credit cards. Oh, I'm going to increase my debt. The bank just said I can go this far. Oh, I'm going to beg for money. No, you change the way you think and you actually change your life and your actions. So that brings me into don't spend what you don't have. And right now you're going, well, Jeremy, I only make this much money a month. Okay, then find ways to cut things out. You have to cut expenses. All right, you're going, you get the newspaper. You can get the newspaper online. Get rid of the newspaper. If you're going, oh man, I can't pay my bills, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What are the most important things that you need to pay? Housing, utilities, and food. Everything else is extra. Housing, utility, and food. Everything else is extra. Cut it immediately. Your Netflix, your streaming service, everything. Cut it. Don't spend more than you have. Now you're going, well, Jeremy, you don't understand. Cost of living is so high here. No, you don't understand. Change the way you think. Move. If your cost of living is so high, move. Well, I can't move. Well, you're always going to be in the same situation then. I don't understand why you would think something different is going to happen if you're not going to change the way you think and actually act on the way that you're thinking. If you want to change your life, change the way you think and act on it. So if the cost of living is too high where you live, whether it's the home that you're in, the apartment you're in, whether it's the area you live in, whether it's the state you live in. If you go, man, I live in Hawaii, this costs too much. Move. I live in California, this costs too much. Move. I live in New York, this costs too much. Move. You're not going to change things unless you change your mind and you actually act on it. Find low housing cost. Decrease your expenses. That increases your income. You know, there's teachers out there that were making $30,000 a year. They decreased all their expenses. When I first got married, I was burning candles to pay off my first house that I bought for $69,900. I paid it off in 3 years. Smartest thing I ever did. Bought that house. I still own that house. That house has made me over $250,000 in rent, which we're going to get to that. Passive income. Why? I didn't want to turn the lights on. I didn't want to pay bills. I wanted to decrease expenses. I was burning candles instead of turning lights on. That's what you do. Decrease all expenses. Then that increases your income. So many people say, I don't make them enough money. No. Your income is not the issue. Your expenses are the issue. You are richer than 99% of the rest of this world, which is mostly third world countries. You have more, but you're more depressed. They're happier. You need to change your mind and your thinking. So you're going to decrease all of your expenses, which increases your income. You do not have an income issue. You have an expense issue. This all goes for the same for the town of Otter Creek. You do not have an income issue. You have an expense issue. You have to decrease expenses. Have you seen Madam Mayor doing? She just cut $10,000 in the last meeting. Now we're going to increase our income and we're going to invest. We're going to invest in our best, okay? So we don't live outside of our budget, and our budget is we don't spend more than we make. Now we have to invest in passive income. So for me personally, I have to pay all of my bills. And I'm going to be point blank, okay? I have more bills than the town of Otter Creek. The town of Otter Creek, in 1 year, I pay more in bills in 1 month. That's just the reality. And frankly, what do you think? I probably pay more in 1 week.
You handle all of that. I stay out of that.
All right. So all the bills. All right. So here's where we're at. Now I pay my bills. I want to pay my bills. I want to save money and I want to invest money. Okay. And honestly, for me in my life, I don't even save money. It's I pay my bills and I invest. That's what I do. And you may be thinking, oh man, how in the world do I invest? Well, very first thing you have to do is decrease your expenses. That increases your income. Then you have money that you can start investing with. Let me show you a little something. Now, everything you just saw behind me, you're thinking, oh, Jeremy loves toys. Go over here, Here's $1,000 I just spent. I just opened this package this morning. Look at this. This sold for 50 cents. 50 cents. 50 cents. Look at this. $3.99. Now, I paid $1,000 for these toys. And you're right now going, no, he didn't. George?
Vintage toys?
Did I or did I not?
If it's a vintage toy, that's an investment that'll make more money for you in the future. Yes, he did.
Okay, so all these toys you see up here, all these garbage pail kids you see up here, that's not an expense. That's actually an investment. But here's what we need to get to in regards to investment, okay? What you really want in your investments is you want what's called passive income. Now, I just got back from 2 weeks being in Otter Creek, and look at here. Here's a pile of cash. Now, I know what this is, and George knows what it is. What is it, George?
Rent money.
It's rent money, all right? I was gone, and Christian went and picked up rent from tenants. There's checks, there's cash, there's money. It's all right there. Guess what? I wasn't there. That's why it's called passive. It's passive income. Passive income is income that you don't have to do anything for. So because I've decreased my expenses, that means my income, there's more for me to invest. I invest in real estate. And because I invest in real estate, then I rent out the real estate. And then the real estate pays me. And guess what? I don't have to do anything. I can be in Otter Creek for 2 weeks and everything goes on just as normal. So your goal is this. Very, very simple. Change your thought process, change your thinking, which changes your actions. You're going to decrease your expenses, and then you're going to increase your income. Your expenses absolutely have to be under your income. All that income, you're then going to invest. You're going to invest in something. For me, you can see it's vintage toys. The price of that is only going to go up. You can see it's coins and silver and gold. The price of that is only going to go up. But the greatest investment you can ever make is real estate. And so rental properties. Your goal is small investments, big investments of real estate. And I don't have to do anything for it. It's passive income. Other passive income opportunities, businesses, laundromat. Now, every once in a while, you got to go in and you got to fix the washers and the dryers. Car washes. Every once in a while, you got to go fix something. But really, you don't have to do it. You're making so much bank that you just pay somebody to go and do it. Rental property. Let's say you start a stump grinder business. You're gonna save $10,000. You're gonna go buy a stump grinder. You're gonna hire a kid to run the stump grinder for minimum wage, but you're gonna do better than minimum wage. You're gonna double it. And then you're gonna say, hey, I got a stump grinding business. You own an asset. You don't have to work it. Somebody else's. You're paying them to work it. You're charging on a stump grinder. You're making bank. That's how you invest and you make money and you change your life. And the town of Otter Creek can do the exact same things. As a matter of fact, I think you're going to see the town of Otter Creek doing that. So I think, as you've asked in the past, is there any other way for the town to make money? I think you're going to see things such as festivals and community garage sale days and other activities that bring people together, but also generate income for the good of the town and the community as the whole.